Guillermo, great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Very exciting.
As the king of front-end, how do you think that AI is going to change how we as humans interact with the world?
I think the front-end experience of your product will become even more meaningful in an age of AI, because it's all about connecting these large language models with the intent and experience the user desires. So a lot of talk is about how the large language models are becoming commodities, right? They're the building blocks of this new era. So I think for every company, they're asking themselves the question of how do I leverage them? And it's going to be through some front-end experience, some product opportunity to connect the user with this super intelligence that is now one API call away for every company in the planet.
Exciting. In general, what is an advice to your younger self?
I would say double down on my strengths and supplement every weakness or area where I'm not an expert with the best experts that we can recruit in the world. So when I started this company, I knew that I had all the front-end engineering skills. I'm a front engineer by trade, but every other skill that you need in order to build a company, you have access to these incredible networks. I live and work in Silicon Valley. My biggest advice would be recruit the best people, surround yourself with the best possible people as soon as you can. And obviously we ended up doing that and we built an entire community around our products and our company, but the sooner you do that, the better.
Very cool. As one of the few successful entrepreneurs who built both an open source product and company, as well as like a non-open source product at the same time, what is your advice to founders that do similar things?
So first of all, I advise everybody to pursue open source. It's amazing the virality and speed at which your open source software can travel. One day I woke up and realized, oh, ChatGPT is built with Next.js. And one day I woke up and said, oh, TikTok is built with Next.js. So that ability for software to travel the world and educate everybody on your behalf, I think is completely unstoppable. But at the same time, you have to think about how does that software get augmented? And I think with the rise of cloud and edge computing, there's as good of an opportunity as ever to supplement that open source component with global infrastructure. So the way we think about this at Vercel is we want to be the absolute best place in the world to host and deliver planet-scale Next.js experiences and other frameworks as well. And I think the key here is that companies are always looking for great services. You know, the era of I purchase a license of a piece of software is long gone, but companies are always willing to incorporate services and APIs into their toolbox. And that's where I think open source entrepreneurs have to be thinking about how can I supplement my open source project with a service that can work at planet scale, has good margins, it can replicate autonomously, right? Like one of the neat things about Vercel is that we have tens of thousands of teams using it. And for each one of them, they're using the same platform. We're not out there carving out a specific piece of software for each company. We do things that truly scale. So I would encourage entrepreneurs to think about it this way as well.
Touching on that, did you build Next.js and Vercel at the same time from the beginning, or did you sequence it out?
Yeah, I was really lucky that I was pursuing two problems at the same time. One was, how do we build better sites? How do we use the latest and greatest techniques like React and other inventions for the UI layer? But at the same time, I was really obsessed with iteration velocity, meaning how quickly can you deploy your idea into the world and share it for collaboration with others. So I was thinking about, I need a service in the cloud that can supplement this piece of technology such that we can make all these artifacts shareable. So the way that I encourage people to think about this is, think about what Google Docs did for word processing. Word processing used to be local. On your computer, you had a Word and you had files. But the magic really happened when we put it in a web browser, we uploaded it to the cloud, and we made it a real-time, immersive, collaborative experience. So that's how I think about the relationship between Next and Vercel in the cloud.
If you weren't an entrepreneur, what would you be?
It's hard to think about being anything else, to be honest. I tried. I think I held a job for like a week. And then I was just obsessed with, again, scaling myself. I think that's a theme, right? Next, before I wrote Next, I actually wrote down an essay called, and this would be another piece of advice for aspiring open source entrepreneurs, I wrote an essay called The 7 Principles of Rich Web Applications. And I toured the world, conference to conference to conference, explaining what I thought was like, this is how you build a really, really scalable, great application. And I realized that doesn't scale. I would have to be on a conference circuit like nonstop in every language in every place in the world. So I thought about how can I turn myself into a technology? And really I couldn't fathom any other way rather than starting a company that produces this super scalable global internet services. So for the type of work that I like to do, which is that educational aspect, that also dovetails into like, a lot of folks ask me, how do you market these products? And to me, it's always about education. If you really are in the service of teaching large groups of people how to do incredible things and empower them, you really want to start your own thing. And it's hard to like just wait until somebody else does it.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Very inspiring. Thanks so much.
Thank you.